Well, it's so nice to welcome all of you to our meeting. We don't have quite all of our members, but we do have a quorum at this point. I think. 2, 3, yep, we do. So I think we can call the meeting to order now. And the second item on our agenda is public participation. I would say that.
Here's some information.
Oh God, don't you hate it when your watch talks to you suddenly? When I raise my voice, she thinks I'm angry with her. Siri starts talking to me. I apologize. Either that or something is bewitched in my room. I think if anyone has anything to say about the Floral Way work, I think we should keep that bit of public participation to that segment of our discussion tonight. Does anyone have any public participation that does not concern the Floral Way? Okay, seeing none, we'll move right to approval of minutes. Hi, Jen. We're just about to approve the minutes. Does anyone have any changes to the minutes as sent to you? Seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented? Dan,
I'll make a motion.
To accept.
one of you.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, we're off to our start now. And we'll dive right into, oh, Dan, I apologize. Before we do anything else, we must
No
pledge
need.
allegiance, and we'll let Dan lead us in that. And he stands.
To the flag, of the United States of
States of
America,
America.
and to the
To the
republic
republic.
for which
For
it
which it
stands,
stands.
one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with
and
liberty
justice
and justice for all.
And I thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for reminding me. So we'll move on to item 4, which everyone has been waiting for, about the work on the Floral Way. In preparing for the meeting tonight, I've been reviewing the guidelines for the preservation of historic cemeteries, both from Mass DCR, Mass Historical Commission, National Park Service, and all of the guidelines that these sites present show that a permanent collection of rare 3-dimensional objects in any old burying ground that in some cases have been in the same place for 300 years are extremely rare and extremely precious. They represent a finite and disintegrating store of historic artifacts that need protection and preservation. Most studies recommend additional protection, specifically some sort of fencing. In fact, DCR recommends that where documented historic fencing once existed, it should be replaced in kind. The white wooden fence that I have shown many of you, most of you, in and that Bill will be sharing a photograph of for you later, dates to before the Floral Way and was in place during the establishment of the Floral Way. We actually have period documentation from the 19th century artist Franklin Poole showing exactly what it looked like, more or less a plan of what it looked like. Now, in the report that Bill has prepared for the recommendations, our town engineer, Bill Renault, I'm talking about, in this work that is being done, the town has a great opportunity to both improve the floral way's physical appearance in the form of additional plantings, as well as to improve accessibility with a pathway that would essentially disappear into the landscape while mitigating the erosion on the effects of our lake. And if anyone had asked me 2 months ago or 3 months ago whether it would be possible to do all of those things while at the same time preserving and protecting our historic old burying ground, I would have told you that I didn't think it was possible. But all-in-one plan, which represents compromises that have been carefully and thoughtfully prepared by our town engineer. I think all of these marks were hit. But I'm going to, at this point, turn it over to him so he can present this plan, this miraculous plan, so that he can present it to all of you. And do I have to do anything at this point for you to share the screen, Bill?
I think you do. So I've tried to hit share screen, and it's saying that the host has disabled participant screen sharing. So I think if you go down to the bottom
Yep.
of where it says share screen, there should be like a little button to the right of it in that little box, and you can allow folks to share screens, I believe.
It's either
I'm in.
that or you can make him the host.
I got it.
Did that-
We're good. Nope, that worked. We're in.
Okay, good.
All right, everybody can see my screen, I hope.
Yep, we
All right.
think.
Yeah.
Right here, I see. I can see.
Yeah.
I can see. All right. So let me jump in. Well, first off, thank you for the kind words at the beginning. So, just so everybody knows, my name is Bill Renault. I'm the town engineer here in Wakefield, and we're here to talk about some improvements that we were proposing for. Essentially, this started out as a reconstruction of the tennis court to include some pickleball activities there as well, replace the fencing and a few other things. As we looked at it, we saw opportunities for some stormwater enhancements to improve lake quality for Lake Quinnipiac. So we ended up proposing and expanding the project to a few things. First was installation of a new bioretention system. That's what you're seeing in green. Essentially what that is it's a small little depression that stormwater goes through, and it actually has some plants and whatnot that are within it, and some specialized soil that actually allows the phosphorus and nitrogen in the stormwater to be taken up by the plants. In turn, when it actually flows through the system and then out, we have cleaner runoff that leaves, from there going into the lake. We also had an area of erosion due to the path. And what has happened in that location is really as the path has eroded in several different areas, all the sediment has essentially clumped to one location, and that's turned into an invasive species area. So as we were going through the permitting process for this, we actually incorporated a invasive species removal area and replacement with a new pollinator garden, which we worked through with the Conservation Commission. And then when we were looking at all of the path area in this location, we said, well, let's also look at the ADA requirements so that we can have this path be ADA compliant for both, running slopes and then cross slopes. Today, with all the erosion that we have and a lot of the ponding and puddling on it, it really does not meet ADA requirements today. So we started permitting this project about 1.5 years ago. Ended up bidding the project. Came up with our contractor. As soon as the work started, I got a lot of questions on what we were doing on the path. Now, mind you, as I went through my process and was presenting this at various boards and commissions, I did ask about the path. Unfortunately, it sounds like I didn't ask the right folks. So all of the right folks did get a hold of me and let me know that we needed to pump the brakes on this and to come up with some better alternatives. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through some of the discussions that we've had with Nancy and some of the revisions to the plan to try to meet the historic aesthetic that we're trying to create there, and some other enhancements beyond what we had originally proposed for the area. So the first modification is for the path itself. So what I had initially proposed was a paved path to go from the parking lot all the way up to Church Street. What we propose now is essentially along the frontage of the old burial ground. We will keep that as a stone dust pathway in aesthetics, but it will be is actually a little bit more complex than that. So they'll have a new erosion mat that you can see kind of in this area here. So essentially it's like these little honeycombs that sit underneath the soil. We fill those back in with stone dust. So this basically eliminates the continued erosion. So it'll only be able to erode down to this matting section essentially. And then I would have another 3 inches of stone dust that would be on top of that I would stabilize with dry Portland cement that would be mixed into it. So I've used this approach in a couple of locations. Back when I worked in Concord, this was essentially what we would use throughout our historic districts area. So this is essentially meeting that that aesthetic and that proposal. So that's the first piece. Second piece was to look at the plantings along the slope. So what we're proposing is actually to remove all of the woody vegetation that's there today. That's sort of just overgrown and really just an eyesore. What we're going to look to do is to replace that with a new wildflower seed mix, a New England wildflower seed mix that this kind of shows you what that looks like when it grows up. These plants would continue to grow. They are perennials, so they would continue to come back. From a maintenance standpoint for us, it allows to get the ground cover thick and nice, provides the and stops the woody vegetation from coming back. From a maintenance standpoint, we'd only have to do this, really mow this down once a year. That's what we would end up for a maintenance situation here. So it's a little bit better than grass from our perspective. Because of the slope, it's difficult to actually get up there and mow. So in talking with our folks within Park and Tree, that's one of the things that they were looking at doing. And then also we're looking to incorporate 13 new crabapple trees. We've had a series of them die over the last few years due to some of the storms that we've had, and then just other disease and whatnot. So we would be basically resprinkling in 13 snowdrift crab apples within that run as well to provide some color in the spring. You can see down here, basically this is what they look like as they're blooming in the spring, and then they turn into essentially it's like a smaller berry that you would see in the fall. That's a little bit smaller red berry is basically what it ends up looking like. And then beyond the modifications for the plantings, we looked at the fencing, and as Nancy mentioned, she definitely was adamant about incorporation of a fence, which we definitely are not against. So while our Park and Tree folks would prefer to have the openness there for maintenance, they do understand the idea of trying to find historic context and finding that balance. So what our proposal is to essentially come back with a new white cedar fence, and that would be strung between the existing bollards that are there. And then what we would also do is look on the ends of the area where we would do our gravel section. We would essentially frame this in. So we would have 2 new ballers that would be placed on the outside of the new gravel area with a threshold stone across it to hold everything in. And then what we would have is the paving that would be done beyond it. Just keep in mind, I am including paving by Church Street up by the top over here, just because we have a lot of erosion there because of the cars coming off or the maintenance vehicles coming off of Church Street. So this is essentially to make sure that all of this stays together and doesn't continue to be a maintenance issue and an erosion problem within the lake, causing some additional algal blooms and the things that happen because of it. So that is kind of my quick presentation on it. I'm happy to answer any questions on it. Yeah, I think that's about all I have.
How many feet in height would the fence be?
The fence, well, going by the photo that's there, that appears to be about a 36-inch fence. I believe the bollards are around 4 feet. The fence comes in different sections. I mean, we'd be happy, I think we'd be looking to mimic the photos that you see here. So somewhere in that area, I believe that's about like 30 to 36 inches, somewhere in that range. If there's a preference, obviously we'd do that.
I have a question, if I may, Peter Scott.
Okay.
The bollards are of varying distance between them, as well as varying heights.
Okay.
So the fence needs to be such that it can be easily adjustable in length to fit in there. And you need to somehow or another find a consistent height for it. Just let the bollards go up and down as they wish.
Right. Yeah. So we'd be looking at, I think, at the, well, because keep in mind, we are also regrading the pathway. So right now we have a bunch of sections of it that are steeper than the 5% that we would need for ADA compliance. So we're getting below that threshold. So we already have some regrading. We could evaluate that. I would envision this really probably following the contour of the pathway, because I think that would make it look right and sit properly. So that's how I would envision this. So, some of the reveal at the top of the bollards would be a little different, just like it is in this photo here. You can see the 3 closest bollards have, varying heights. So, I think we'd have a standard fence. The fences can be a little bit longer. We can get them made to fit. So I'm not concerned about that. But having a consistent across the whole thing with all the varying heights, I think we would follow the roadway on the way down. I think that would be how the eye would want to see it, I believe, right? Does that make sense? Or
Yeah. The bollards also have a hole drilled in top and bottom on each side, where the old fence must have attached in somehow or another.
Yep.
You'll have to figure out some detail to attach there. I'm concerned personally with the maintainability of even a white cedar fence. That thing's not going to last very long.
I mean, we have them in other places in town that you can see folks that have installed them. I mean, it is a maintenance thing for sure. But we have a fence budget, and we would just incorporate this as part of our fence replacement like we do, in other parts of town.
Okay.
Director.
Nancy, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I've talked to the director about this, and he said he's comfortable with it being installed.
No.
So, we know that it would be a maintenance item, but at this point, we're budgeting a little different than we did previously, and we have a fence budget. So,
Nancy, I have a question for you.
Okey-doke.
Are you hoping that this fence will address security issues in terms of people getting in there and causing damage and stealing stuff?
I am hoping this is one measure. I am not seeing this as a foolproof solution by any means. But I'm hoping that by just having this little physical division, it gives it more of a sense of place in my mind. And I so appreciate your going and taking a look at this whole thing, Peter, with your enormous experience. And I really feel that this is the right move for us at this point. And this is an opportunity that we otherwise would not have had.
Okay. When we talked the other day about headstones being stolen, I didn't ask you about the frequency thereof. Is this like a 1 a year kind of thing, or a bunch of them, or what kind of quantities do we think is happening?
Well, Peter, once we have been able to find the original map that you and Neil O'Neill did, and possibly have people go out and walk and see exactly how many of the gravestones are actually missing, I think we're going to see quite a large number. I can't quantify it at this point. I know visually from looking at the old burying ground and from hearing hearsay evidence from people who are finding pieces of Wakefield gravestones turning up at flea markets.
Yeah.
I'm alarmed, and I feel that some sort of security measures need to be taken.
You're right. I think the fence per se isn't going to do the job in that regard. If somebody who's really here for that very specific purpose is going to find a way over or around the fence, it doesn't go all the way down to the lake. So there will be always an easy way to walk around it down there to get onto the burial ground. Off the top of my head, my sense is the only way to really have a deterrent there would be cameras, security cameras, and some prominent signs saying that the thing is being watched by security cameras, which is unsightly, but we would really have a shot at catching people when they do this.
And I think that's something that we have to look at. I had been talking to Mr. Stinson about that just before he retired. And hopefully we can, I don't know whether the police chief would be the person to talk to. Ed, what do you think?
I think Chief Scory would be one option. I think otherwise, Bill, perhaps Joe Conway too might be worth
Potentially.
talking to, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, we deal a lot more with traffic cameras, I think, you know.
Right. So I think it probably would be Chief Scory. I think he would probably be the best bet.
Yeah, he would know. I would imagine he'd be the
Yeah.
guy.
The fact of the matter is that these things are coming up out of the ground with some frequency. And when they do that, they're just an attractive kind of, not a nuisance, but it's an opportunity. People
Yeah.
see it as an opportunity, I guess. I don't know if DPW might be collecting them when they come out of the ground.
That's something I can look into. That's a good question. That's definitely
Because that really should not be done.
Mhm.
But it's,
Right.
that would be great if you could look into that.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they are, because I mean, there are folks that do maintenance on these. I mean, I ran a program when I was in Concord that was a replacement or repair folks that they just work in slate. That's their deal. So, you know, and they would do repairs. We'd had an annual contract with them to handle, say, I want to say like 10 or 15, you know, stones per year or something to that effect. So it's like an annual maintenance, part of our annual maintenance contracts that we had.
That might also be combined with with organizing regular inspections. Have members of the historical commission or somebody who's working with you agree to walk the site twice a summer or something like that, and identify stones that have fallen over and or need repair.
Yeah, I mean, we are also, Peter, just as a heads up, I mean, we on our other cemeteries, we're doing inventories of all of the graves and where they are. So we have opportunities where we can actually have a web app that you can have all the stones and click on them and see where they're supposed to be as you're walking through. And you'll be able to pick it up on your phone or on your tablet or whatever you have with you. So that's definitely something we could look to do, you know, over the next couple of years for sure. That might help the commission with.
We have in the past, Bill, Peter, years and years and 100 years ago, Peter and
Pretty
another
close.
member, Neil O'Neill, mapped out the old burying ground. And then we had a team of volunteers go out, and we actually inventoried each and every one of the stones and took their pictures.
Oh,
And so we have a visual record of, I think we have inventories done for probably 85% of them.
oh, that would be terrific. If I could get my hands on those, we could pull that together a lot quicker.
Yeah, we have one major problem, which is that the key, the letters and numbers that keyed the one to the other has been lost. So we're working on that.
Yeah.
I believe we have some Civil War veterans that are buried in a ark over there too.
There are Civil War veterans, there are Revolutionary War veterans as well. For sure.
Nancy, could I ask you to back up and see again what you said about we have a problem with the keying, did you say?
Peter, as I told you, the key, the letters and numbers that marked each grave to its corresponding inventory form and identifying form was lost in our house fire, because it was the one and only copy of that we
Okay.
possessed.
Do you have can you have access to the plan?
I do.
Get that to me. Get whatever inventory you have of the individual ones. I'll figure out what's where and mark it up.
Well, we have binders and binders and binders and binders and binders of
Well-
information, but we also have a spreadsheet. And
Where
I'll
are,
make that
where are the
available to you.
binders? In the Little Red Schoolhouse?
Yep. Yep.
Well, if you get me the plan and let me get at the binders, I'll do that job.
Peter, you are a godsend.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you my bill. Wait till you get it.
Get them before they change their mind.
When you go to do that, if you want to coordinate with me, hit me up before you go, because I'll have my GIS person also tag along and help.
Oh, the problem is, I think we have this thing in PDF format at this point.
Well,
It was originally done on CAD.
Right.
And then I run it on prints on it. It was way back when.
Yeah,
And
but that's fine, even if it's
prints
still,
are all that's lasted.
we would have the CAD in all likelihood. So if you want to,
No, you don't. I did it.
Oh, you did it? Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. In that case,
It's probably the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there.
Yep.
And I don't have it anymore,
yeah, it's unfortunate.
unfortunately. We'll
Well, I
figure
do,
something out.
right over there.
Okay, you get what you have to me, please, Nancy.
Okay.
That one should be able to email it to me, I think. If you have it electronically.
I
and-
don't know that I have that. I have.
Okay,
a
if you only
physical
have hard
copy.
copy, get that to me too, or give me a call, I'll come pick it up.
Okay, all right. Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like we have a plan, and I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to all of you for your great ideas and the town for its willingness to work with us on this.
Nancy, could I just ask her, or Bill, have Friends of Lake Quannapowitt weighed in on the fence? Have they offered comment at all?
There's a member on tonight, but no, at this point they haven't.
I might just suggest that might make sense. I know, because when we've had other things like, anything structure related, benches or whatever the case might be, we've always, sought their input as well.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely reach out. I know Bill's on tonight and so isn't Karen, but we can reach out after, after the meeting and let them know the game plan.
Yeah, I
Yes,
just
of
think
course.
that would be helpful.
Would not be visible from the lake at all, I wouldn't think.
No, I think,
Um,
I wouldn't think it would be either. It'd be, I mean, to be honest with you, I think if you're walking on Church Street on the sidewalk up above, I don't think that would impede you at all either. It's whether you're on the, if you're on the, on the path potentially, as you're looking further down, would be the only thing I could think of,
Right.
but it's a good.
I just normally, whenever we're looking around, like the perimeter.
Yeah, Ed and Bill, this is Bill Conley.
Hey, Bill.
I just got in. I didn't see your whole presentation, but and Karen, you're on too, but I'll just start. A few thoughts. We haven't talked in any detail about, the prospective plans. I would suspect as a board, we would defer to the Historical Commission, the DPW, and the good sense of the town council. Ed's probably referring to the policy we put in place a few years ago where anything permanent in the lake area needs council review, a fair opportunity for comment, and then a vote of the council. So in my opinion, and Karen, weigh in if you view it differently, I think that probably would be a proper procedure, that the council will approve anything that would be permanent in this renovation. And other people could comment, bring in other people in that waiting period. But not speaking for the new president, but we can take it up at our next meeting if there's any concern at all with these questions. But my overall feeling is that the good judgment that we're seeing here with the plan would certainly carry the day in our organization. Karen, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm on. Oh, wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, I was thinking about what I would say, and I was going to say exactly what Bill said. And in general, we would really want to give the weight to the Conservation Commission and the town in this respect. I don't think, from our perspective, we would have any reason to weigh in at another, in another way. So, yeah, from my perspective, I'm just very happy to see people pulling together to come up with a really good plan in this area. So you can not have a lot of concern about views of the FOLQ making any difference in the directions you're looking. So anyway, thank you for everything that's happening here.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Karen, and thank you, Bill. I'm so glad that you were both here tonight to give us your opinions on this. Once again, I would not think of this as permanent construction, the application of a wooden fence, but I will defer to legal minds on that. This is the kind of fencing that is also in use at Old Burying Grounds on Martha's Vineyard and Tisdale, and I think Wellesley and several other communities. And it is a way of restoring what was there original. Well, maybe not originally, but at least 100 years ago.
Well, and to your point, Nancy, I see this more as a replacement as compared with something new. Like you're not installing new fencing. You're really just putting in, you're just replacing what had been taken away or lost over the years. So I think that's different. I was just looking more broadly at making sure that Friends of Lake Quantapowhat at least had the opportunity to offer comments, just because it's in the vicinity of the lake. But again, we'd have to go back and look at the policy, Bill, but I don't think this would even fall necessarily under that permanent structures policy, again, because it's existing that we're just replacing.
I was originally against this because from the picture, I thought the fence was at least 6 feet high and one couldn't look over the top of it. But now I know that the maximum height is going to be between 3 feet and 4 feet. That makes me approve it more, and knowing it would be made out of wood and not vinyl or any other artificial substance.
I think it's bringing back history to the town of Wakefield. And I do like, I'm 75 years old, and I believe when I was a kid walking through there, they still had some sections of that wooden fence up close to the church. And this is just bringing back the period of Franklin Pool there, the pictures, the photos that Nancy has, and we're bringing back history. And we're losing enough history. Let's bring some back. And I'm glad to see this being done.
Thank you, Dan. Does anybody else have any comment? Does this require a vote, do we think, of the Historical Commission to endorse this plan?
I don't know if it would, but if you'd like to.
I don't think it would hurt.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Members, could we have a motion to endorse this plan as presented?
I move that we endorse this plan and have it presented.
And I'll second that.
Any comment from any member of the commission? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if we need to identify each person individually or not.
I think if there's no one opposed, then it carries by unanimous, right?
Thank you very much. Thank
Sure.
you. And thank you all. Thank you everyone who has come and who has pledged to help us in our work. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to do something good for the old burying ground.
Appreciate all the feedback. It's great to be able to work together with everyone. So thank you. the time, and obviously Nancy, thank you for the for all the comments and for helping me through this plan. This is great.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
Sure, let's go build some stuff.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, then we will move on to our next agenda item. I'm sorry, was somebody, was there another comment? No? Okay. All right, next on our agenda is the AmeriCal roof. The roof of the AmeriCal Civic Center needs replacement. And we had been contacted by the head of the Department of Buildings for the town. And he wondered if it would be okay, basically, to eliminate the skylights in the restoration of the roof. And so we've taken a look at a new look. We've all gone to look at the AmeriCal roof, and we've shared photographs of the way that it was. Now, to remind everyone, I know you don't need reminding, but the AmeriCal Civic Center is indeed on the National Register of Historic Places as an important building to our nation's heritage. And so all of the architectural features, or most of them, I would think, should be considered very carefully if we're making any changes. I have sent some photographs to everyone. I'll see if I can do this or not. Okay. Here's the AmeriCal. And from the front, of course, beautiful building. We do not see any sign of the skylights. But from the side here in this section from, I think, our 1944 history of the town of Wakefield, we can see the skylights.
Nancy,
Oh, but
or
Jim-
can you guys see the pictures? I actually can't see the pictures.
You
I
can't see them?
them
All I
either.
see is the menu
No,
bar,
we can-
Nancy.
Oh, too bad. All right, well, you've all seen them, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna stop trying to share then. I actually rehearsed this today with my son. We didn't get into the fine points of the AmeriCal though. But, he's getting his PhD and is on Zoom all the time. And so we didn't identify this AmeriCal problem, but all of you have seen it. The beautiful building of the AmeriCal Civic Center really is enhanced by the skylights that are on the roof. What do you all think?
I think we should preserve the skylights on the roof.
I also think we should preserve them because it actually was an old armory, and then it became
That's
the
right.
American. And
Yeah.
to keep that in mind, that it was an armory, and that's the architectural feature of that skylight. I think it let airflow into the drill hall down below, which was called the drill hall back then.
I
Yeah,
agree
we
with
still called
those
it the
comments.
drill hall when I was on the AmeriCal board not too long ago. I think they still call it the drill hall, Dan, but you're absolutely right. Anybody else?
I agree with the consensus to include the windows in the repairing of the roof.
If for no other reason that the building's on the National Register, so it should look original.
And if they're doing a whole brand new roof on it, put flashing around those windows, and there should be no problem. I think the problem right now is we have leakage in the far side by Armory Street. And I think it's damage they can fix right now, but they have to do something with it, but flashing it, fix it.
All right. Can we have a motion then to see if we endorse or urge saving the skylights on the Americal's roof. You guys have got to be better at motions. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna.
I'll make the motion that we request that in repairing the roof, they continue to leave the skylights visible.
I second that motion.
Discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Anthony Guardia has joined us. Hello, Anthony. And now we've moved on, we've passed the Americal roof, and we've moved on to any other matters. Does anyone else have anything that we should discuss this evening?
Just like to make one comment in that it's nice to see two projects right here where it's preservation of history in Wakefield. That's what we're here for, and that's what we're doing, and it's great to see it being done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan.
And I hope eventually it will be written up in the item.
Well, certainly will. It will, Jean.
Yeah.
Any other matters? Okay. Ed, do you want to share anything with us tonight?
I don't know that I have anything to report tonight, Nancy, but I think I think to Dan's point, it's incredibly exciting to see two projects that are restoring, especially with the fencing actually bringing back some history, and with the Americal preserving it, which is unfortunately not all that common.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something about what Jean just mentioned about, making sure that things like this, that, the Historic Commission, does what their goal is, and that's to, preserve architectural history of the town, and to kind of get these types of projects and successes in the public eye is going to be all the more weight that we would have towards, getting people more involved with putting their homes on the register and things of that nature, like other things that we're after. So
Good point.
Yeah, and we are continuing our quest to find a permanent solution for the historic markers for historic homes. No replacement has been found to date for the nice man who was making them for $68 post-paid, all handmade and hand lettered. We shared him with about 25 other Massachusetts communities, and we're all kind of in the same boat looking around for new vendors. Here in Wakefield, David Workman is a local artist who is considering taking on the project, but he's trying to work out what would be an appropriate price point for doing this kind of work. And so this is an ongoing project, and hopefully we'll have some news on this by the time of our next meeting, which will be when, Jean?
Oh, I don't have my calendar with me.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness, I failed you.
The 26th of April.
April
Okay.
20. Okay. Thank
So
you.
it, hopefully we'll have something by the time of our next meeting on the 26th of April.
Yeah.
Can I,
Nancy, oh, go ahead.
Yep, sure, Jim.
someday, maybe the town will restore our old canning, our missing cannon on the common, and find a permanent place for it. But maybe the town might do that. Restore it and put it in a permanent place. Just a
So
little.
Dan, I understand that it's in pieces at various DPW establishments. That's
would be
all I
the
can say about it.
Missing piece that we have it. We have it all the world wars except for the Revolutionary War, and that's a revolutionary cannon.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure about that.
Well, it's a replica of.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. David Workman knows all about the construction of the cannon. And I've talked to Chris Pierce from the DPW, who knows where all the bodies are buried, apparently, of where all the different pieces and parts of it are. It is in pieces,
Yes.
but it would be nice.
Or it gets lost again, maybe we should put those pieces together or put it in a permanent location so some of those pieces can't be lost forever.
Yeah. Of course, the carriage for it is wooden, so that's one consideration, but I'm no expert. But that point is well taken, Dan. And Jen, did you have something?
I did. I just wanted to mention, I didn't realize how reasonable our previous sign maker was. I went online and did some research and did find some companies that do kind of a similar work with hand lettering and specifically for historic houses, and the prices were at least twice, 3 times of what this person had been charging us, and actually didn't even have the level of detail. They were even plainer. So I'm unfortunately more appreciative of it now than I was then, now that I've done some searching myself.
He was an absolute treasure. He really was. Yeah. So
Yeah, because there were some companies on Etsy and I was looking around and it just wasn't anything that I wanted to even volunteer to you guys, but I just wanted to say that, yes, I understand your pain in trying to find somebody now. The folks are looking for a new sign maker.
yeah. Okay, well, join in the search then, Jen. Okay, anyone else?
Just one comment. You said you weren't feeling well. I hope you're doing better tonight.
Thank you, Jean. I did have 36 hours of misery with food poisoning yesterday. I didn't know if I would make it tonight, but I have survived. Whether
Good.
that was good or not, I don't know. Okay. If we don't hear anything, I see John Sophia has joined us. John, did you want to add anything? He says no.
Well, actually, no, everything seems really great. I'm really pleased with the plan, and it's actually better than I expected. It's quite nice. My compliments to everyone.
I think so. And you know, John, I think you were a part of this whole thing coming to this good solution. So I really thank you for joining in on this effort.
That's gratifying. Thank you.
To make sure that the Historical Commission's voice is heard a little bit every now and then.
Outstanding.
And so I thank you so much, John, for doing that.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything? All right, then can I have a motion to adjourn? Once again, you guys.
Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Second.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor.
Aye.
Bye.
All right, see you guys on April 26th.